Hi everyone, so I'm jumping on live today just to go through a few exercises related to one of the awareness weeks, one of the many awareness weeks that we have at the moment. And this week it's been back care awareness week. So it's back pain in general is a very prevalent condition, shall we say. So many people experience back pain, and it really does range in terms of the symptoms people experience and the severity. I mean, you have people maybe like yourself that gets the occasional back pain when they've maybe overdone it, or they've sat with bad posture for a period of time, or maybe they get daily backache, but because of the things they do, like the jobs they have, but it goes away at the end of the day, and then all the way to people that are living with chronic back pain. So having a back care awareness week is a really good idea, because it helps share a lot of information to those that are living with this particular condition, as well as fitness and wellness professionals that can help give that extra support to these clients. So I thought I would share today 3 stretches and 3 exercises that you can give to your clients or recommend to your clients if they are experiencing any back pain. Now, I think the most important thing to understand here is exercises, a bit like certain medications, they are designed to help manage and also prevent conditions. So when it comes to back pain, if people did these exercises and these stretches on a regular basis, hopefully they wouldn't experience back pain, or definitely not as much. It helps to manage it. But we are all very guilty of only doing exercises or only treating ourselves when we experience the problem or the pain. And as soon as it goes away or it eases off a little bit more, then we stop our exercises or we stop whatever the treatment is until it comes back again, and then we treat it. So I think the whole point really here for Awareness Week is trying to get people into a routine to do these stretches and these exercises all the time. So it's a routine regardless of when they have their pain. Now, for some that have more mechanical back pain, it might be a case of that, like as I said before, they experience pain over the course of the day, then they lay down at night time and go to sleep, and by the morning they're kind of fixed. So there's lots of things that they could do in their everyday life that might help control their pain. And then you'll have other people that are living with more complicated back problems, normally neurological related or degenerative changes in the spine, who don't go to sleep and wake up without these symptoms. So they're going to need these exercises even more so on a regular basis. So let's go through what those ones are for this recap series. So the first stretch is going to be the one where you get people laying on their back and you get them to bring their knees up to their chest. So this can either be done one knee at a time or both knees together, but just to help you to visualize what stretch I'm talking about here, stretches out the lower back. So someone will be laying down on the floor with their knees bent, feet flat on the floor as if they were going to perform a crunch, and then they can bring one knee towards their chest and hold that position for, say, 15-20 seconds, depending on how uncomfortable that is for them, and slowly put the leg down and then do the other side. Or they can bring both knees to their chest slowly together and again allow themselves to relax into that stretch over 15-20 seconds. Some people might be able to hold it a little bit longer. You may want to recommend they do more than one set of it. So they might do this exercise followed by a couple of others and then go through them maybe 2 or 3 times. So 2 or 3 sets of those exercises. Because the more you can lengthen the muscle, the further you're going to get with the range of movement. So you have to be persistent with it. It's not like one 20-second hold is going to miraculously ease tension and improve range of movement. Now, with this particular stretch, you just want to be careful, because if people do have any sort of trapped nerves, let's say, or any neurological kind of conditions, it might be a bit uncomfortable. So you have to warn people to do it slowly, not just lift their legs off of the ground quickly and not shove them back down and create an arch in their back. So it's all about control with the movement. And if it's too uncomfortable for them, they need to listen to their own body and not do it. So that's the first main stretch. It's recommended by a lot of wellness professionals and physiotherapists, for example, for people with back pain. So we can all do that nice and easily. People could even do that really when they first wake up in the morning whilst laying in bed, bring their knees to their chest, or they could do it last thing at night. So it's not too hard to integrate into activities of daily living. So any questions about these exercises or stretches, make sure you put them underneath, or equally, if you have any ideas of your own or exercises that you recommend to people or you've been told they've been told by a physio to do, then maybe pop them in the comments below too. So the second stretch exercise is when we're on all fours. So you're kneeling on your knees, you've got your hands underneath your shoulders, your abs engaged, and you want to create an arch in your back. So some people call it like the cat stretch. You really want to draw in the abdominal muscles and try and create as much of an arch in the back as possible. So that requires taking the head down and under, so you'll sort of look down towards your knees or towards your thigh area to accentuate that curve, and it just allows the spine to elongate. So the previous one, it was about loosening up the lower back and the pelvis area. This one's about extending the length of the spine. Now ideally, once someone's done the cat stretch, you then want them to come back down just to neutral, not to go into the dip curve straight away, because it's important for people to learn where their natural pelvic alignment is and where their natural spinal curve is. So you don't want them rotating their pelvis too far forward, so you don't want them dipping their back when they think that they're level. So it's training them to understand where it is, where their neutral spinal alignment is. So encourage them to stretch as high as they can, and then engage their core and control them down to a flat neutral spine for them. They might need some coaching and some tips from you in order to make sure that they do that effectively, because it's very easy for you to think that you are in a neutral spinal position when in fact you're not. So focus on that. Then if people wish to, they can do the inverted position. That for some people with back pain can actually cause maybe impingement, because it depends on the part of the spine they have problems, but the dipping movement can cause some pain. So see whether that's suitable for your client, but definitely the stretching and down to neutral. And then the next one is where you're in that same position, but you're just going to sit yourself back onto your heels. So these two exercises come nicely together. So you sit back onto your heels, your bottom is on your heels if possible, and you reach your hands out in front of you. So you're really again trying to stretch out that spine and sink into the stretch. So you're allowing all of the muscles to relax. Try not to carry that tension through the actual stretch itself. So I always try and encourage people to put their fingertips out and try and walk themselves that little bit further away from their hips to help as they relax into the stretch itself. It can also be helpful, and again take it steady depending on the pain that someone has, to get them to walk their fingertips to the right and as far up and to the right as they possibly can, and that's going to then obviously stretch down one side of the body more and into the lower back. And then to neutral, so into the middle again, and then walk the fingertips to the left and as high as they can go. So this time we're tipping that way and stretching out through that part of the back too. So it helps with separating the spine or lengthening the spine, but also relaxing all of the muscles that are around the spine, in particular the erector spinae muscle. And then the other stretch is going to be focusing more on your glutes. So your glutes are hugely important, and they impact back pain and back function very significantly. So they're not a muscle group to underestimate. So any kind of glute stretch would be effective, but one of the best ones is sort of a piriformis glute stretch, and that will be again where you're laying on your back. You've got your feet bent, you've got your feet on the floor, your knees bent at 90 degrees, and you're going to slowly take both knees over to, rotate them over. So say these are my knees, over to one side, and allow them to drop towards the floor. Some people will be able to pretty much get their knees towards the floor, maybe an inch or two off. Other people are going to be like up here. So this is the floor. Their knees are going to stop up here because there's a lot of tension and a lot of stress in that part of the body. Or there might be degenerative spine changes, which mean they can't rotate that way anymore. So they just need to go within their comfort range. So tipping the knees to the side. They can hold that there just like that if they want to. Again, same time period, so like at least 15 to 20 seconds. Then they'll come back up to neutral and down the other side. They might want to perform that a few times. Firstly, make sure that the knees They go together. You don't allow someone to drop one leg down and then the other leg go down, because that's going to then pull on the pelvis and that could hurt the back further. So they need to pretend that their knees are stuck together, or like they've got a band or wrapped around them, and they rock their knees to the side simultaneously. If you want to make that stretch a little bit harder still, or a little bit deeper into the glute and the piriformis area, then the top leg, say I'm tipped onto my right hand side, my top leg is going to be my left. Rather than just keeping it parallel or on top of my right knee, I'm going to bring it up and off of it, which should create a right angle with my torso. And that allows for that little bit further space, a little bit more space for the knee to drop down past the other one. So that's why it increases the stretch even more. So I hope you're following that in terms of what I'm explaining with the stretch. I might do another quick video where I'm actually demonstrating these, because it's always a little bit easier, but not so easy on live. So they're the three main stretches, or groups of stretches, that we're talking about. So my first one was the knee to chest, either single knee or double knee together, and then making sure that we stretch out the back by doing sort of what some people call the cat stretch, so arching your back really high and coming back down to neutral alignment, and then sitting back onto the heels and stretching it out that way, reaching the arms far away. And then stretches for the glute area, one of the best ones as well being bringing your knees to the side when you're laying on your back. But of course, any other glute stretches are great too. There are so many of them, but they just need to be doable and manageable. And all of them, I think, are, because most of them can be done either in bed, like I said before, like first thing in the morning, last thing at night, or on the floor. You know, just they're quite easy to do. They're quite easy to integrate. It's just understanding them and making sure people do them at the right time for them, at the right speed for them, and the right range of movement. Okay, so like I say, if you've got any other exercise, stretches at this point, put the stretches underneath that you think are great, or that you know that your clients have had recommended to them to do to manage it. Now, here are 3 exercises that are quite good. Some might merge, I suppose, slightly into stretches, but I would still classify these as exercises to get someone to do. The first one is the bridge. Now, the bridge as an exercise can be done very, very easily, very quickly, but not necessarily very effectively. Now, when it comes to glute activation, to do the bridge properly, you really need to be making sure you're engaging your glutes fully. For those of you inside the PTD Hub, last month's training bundle was on functional glutes, so you can go all through that training bundle and hear from the osteopath Cameron Reed talk about how to really engage your glutes, especially with that particular exercise. But when it comes to the spine, and my focus here for you is when you are in that bridge position, so at the top they've created a diagonal line. Coming down from the bridge, you want to try and encourage people to go slowly down and pretend that they're putting one vertebrae down at a time. So say the bridge is this way now, because it's easy for me to demonstrate, then it would be like a case of this part going down 1, 2, 3, really slowly, like one vertebrae at a time. And I can tell you that is very hard to do. A physio once gave me that particular exercise to do because I have scoliosis of the spine. So sometimes I do get back pain. Mine's mechanical back pain, in that if I go to sleep or I lay on flat floor for long enough, it goes away. So I'm lucky in that sense. But I did need to mobilise my spine more, and it's great for that. But you don't have to think, and you have to take it really slowly. So one vertebrae at a time, slowly down until you get to the ground. Then engage your abs, engage your glutes, lift yourself slowly back up and do it again. So if you do that exercise properly, it should hurt the glutes. You should feel it working, not an easy exercise to do. And you should just feel that tension coming out of your spine. I thought it was actually a really nice feeling, stretching out that part of the back and being very aware of how your spine moves, because I just felt like my spine was one rod and it just wanted to go down rather than flex its way down. So try that one with your clients. Then another exercise that you can do requires them, it's a bit similar actually to the glute bridge one, but again standing up against the wall this time. So if anyone stands up against the wall, puts their hips against the wall, their shoulder blades against the wall. You firstly want to see what kind of gap is happening in their lumbar spine, so how lordotic are they, and you can do that by sort of seeing what the gap is in the back by putting your hand through it. So really you should only be able to get about this far, so about 4 fingers into someone's back. If you can get the whole hand through there or whole arm through there, then they're probably quite lordotic. So firstly, it's addressing people's spinal alignment and pelvic tilts. So seeing where their pelvis is aligned to and probably tipped forwards if you can get your arm through them. And then you want them to bend forwards and press their lower back into the spine and work their way up the wall 1 vertebrae at a time. So like I say, with the bit like the glute bridge, but this time walking up a wall with your back. Not actually walking up the wall, because that would be impressive, wouldn't it? But 1 spine at a time going up the wall. So bending over, pushing your spine into the wall. It's really hard to do. And then 1 vertebrae, obviously not going to be actual 1 vertebrae, but that's how you describe it to someone. So sections hit the wall at a time, all the way to the top. And again, it helps lengthen the spine, it helps people be aware of their spinal alignment, and it helps with the mobility and the flexibility overall. So that's my next exercise. I think that one in particular is very easy to do, and it's quite nice for when people have an aching back. Sometimes pressing your back against a wall or into the floor is quite a nice relief. So it should be one that they'd want to do on a regular basis, and it can be done because you don't necessarily need any equipment to do it. And then we've got pelvic rotation exercises, or pelvic rotation is what I'm going to call it. So a bit like I just said with the previous one, you need to understand where your pelvis sits, because if your pelvis is tipped forwards, you're going to experience more pain in your lower back. If your pelvis is one-sided, like locked to one side, then the shift that's occurring in that area when you walk or when you stand for long periods of time is going to indirectly cause pain in other areas of the body. So getting people to either stand, sit, or maybe sit on a Swiss ball, they need to sit how they would do normally and make them aware of how a neutral pelvic alignment would be, like what that would look like and what they should feel. And then get them to tip their pelvis forwards, then back to neutral, tip their pelvis backwards, and then back to neutral. So these are exercises that you would do most commonly with ante and postnatal clients. So any of you that are qualified in that area, you've probably come across these pelvic tilt exercises before. If you haven't, you can always Google them or research them. In fact, actually, over on our blog, I think you'll find I've got exercise videos on there showing you doing pelvic tilts on a Swiss ball underneath one of the ante and postnatal blog topics there. And it's super easy to do, but if someone has back pain, you find that their pelvis is really rigid, it's really stuck in one place, and they find it hard to mobilise that part of the back. Plus, they're not aware that they should be moving that part of the back. So getting them to sit either on a chair, so they're very, very aware of it, or a Swiss ball if you have it, and then get them to tip forwards, neutral, tip back. Neutral, tip forwards, neutral, back, neutral. And you can shift to the sides as well, so you shift your weight left to right. That should really help educate them about how your body should be, how you should sit, especially for people that have desk jobs, because a lot of people sit on their on their hamstrings, as opposed to sitting on their actual SISs, the sit bones in the body. So if you can get people to sit better, then actually it's likely to control any back pain they might experience over time. So they're the 3 main exercises, so just going through them again. Glute bridge, focusing on taking the spine down nice and slowly. Standing wall climbs for the spine, so like standing against the wall and pushing your spine in and elevating all the way to a standing position. And then having a moment, and then your pelvic rotations. So I hope you found those helpful to either refreshing or updating your knowledge on stretches and exercises that you can perform with people that have back pain. Always, always, always remember to do an assessment on them first, just to see what the origin of their back pain is going to be. But the main message of this really is to educate people to keep doing these exercises and stretches, even when they don't have their pain, even when it subsides or eases off and they think, oh, I fixed it, that's great, I don't need to do them anymore. And then it comes back and then they'll start them again. But if they continued them, maybe that would actually prevent them developing these symptoms again. So that's the key takeaway. Educate people. Teach them the exercises and stretches to do and continue to educate them to make sure they do it all the time. Okay, if you have any questions, if you have any exercises, anything like that, pop them in the comment section below and I'll make sure I keep an eye on it and I can answer them for you there. If not, just share your existing knowledge. So before I go, let me just tell any of you that are interested in learning new topics like this, or maybe accessing the functional glute bundle that I was talking about previously. The PTD Hub is actually open for enrolment for the last time this year, at its lowest possible price as well. So over in the PTD Hub, we offer monthly bundles of training to keep you up to date, make sure that you're learning new topics or recapping existing knowledge that you do have, and also filling any gaps in qualifications and covering a wide variety of topics. So far over in the PTD Hub, you can find this month's bundle, which is currently on multiple sclerosis. Last month's was about the functional gluteal bundle run by an osteopath. And then previous ones in there include things like the balance bundle, the healthy heart bundle, paperwork bundle to make sure you've got all of your legal paperwork and all of your health paperwork all in one area, and a few others too. In the next couple of bundles that I'm not going to tell you what they are because they are secret until they're released. They're going to be run by other wellness professionals in the industry and I'm really looking forward to them. So it's a great place to be, to help you stay at the top of your game, offer new challenges, new exercises, new ideas to your client, keep you fresh, make sure that you don't ever forget the information that you have studied so long and so hard for in those qualifications that you've done. So if you're interested in learning anything more about the PTD Hub, you can head over to our website, which is www.ptdhub.com, and you can find out that there, or you can send me an email, which is either info@ptdhub or info@puretraininganddevelopment.co.uk. Or you can ask me any questions in the comments below, but I'll pop the link in the comments if anyone does want to head over there and have a little look, because we only open the doors for a limited period of time and this is the last time that we will be opening at this lowest possible price that there's ever going to be. So if it takes your interest, then maybe you want to think about heading over there and getting involved with us now rather than later. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Like I say, any questions in the comments below. If not, I will speak to you in our next revision session. So spread the word about good back pain relief and good back care. See you soon. Bye.